Hello everybody, Dan here. Welcome back to Daily Soap Dish. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button down below because we cover a ton of 90 Day Fiancé right here on the channel. All right, so first things first, guys, I want to wish everybody out there a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everybody watching and everybody that's been watching over the past couple of months. I've had a blast covering 90 Day Fiancé with you guys and engaging with you guys in the comments. So thank you very much for the support. I look forward to growing this community in the next couple of weeks and in 2024. So I hope you guys enjoy the holidays. Hope you guys have a blast with your families. And now let's get to the video for today. So I've been wanting to put this video out there for a couple of weeks now, and I just never really had the time to sit down and compile all of this information. And this video is about Paul Stale and Karine Martins and their custody battle for their two sons, Ethan and Pierre, and just what is going on with their custody battle, because they're putting information out there. However, it appears that their chances of ever getting custody for their two sons are slim to none, but they're still putting information out there that they're fighting to regain custody of their two sons. So what exactly is going on? Let's take a look here. So there's going to be multiple parts to this video today. Now, we're going to take a look at this article, and this is not a new article, guys. We're just going to go over this very quickly just to kind of lay the groundwork for, the news that Paul Stale put out there today. Now, also, I have some information, by a viewer of the channel that sent me, some nicely compiled information, and I'm not going to say who this person is, but I'm just going to say that it's one of you guys that is watching the channel, and so we're going to go over that, and we're going to try to piece together this puzzle, the pieces of this puzzle that is Paul and Karine and their quest to regain custody of their kids. Now, I'm just going to say off the bat, it doesn't look likely that they're ever going to regain custody of their kids. And so let's start off with this piece right here from, this is from In Touch Weekly. So, 90 Day Fiancé's Paul and Karine's sons are doing well amid custody battle. They're loved and cared for. So their two sons, Pierre and Ethan, are doing well amid their ongoing custody battle against Child Protective Services, aka CPS, a source close to the situation tells In Touch. Now, I'm sure Pierre is very confused about why this is, the source tells In Touch in a statement about the former couple's first son. Just sad for sure, but the boys are very loved and cared for. The insider explains there's no unlawful contact between Paul, Karine, and their sons, adding that the mom of two sees her kids once a week at a special place. It's bittersweet, the source says of the situation. Now, Paul, 39, and Karine, 26, have been fighting for custody of their two sons since June of 2022. After their eldest son was reported missing that month, both children were placed under the care of CPS. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children sent out a missing persons alert for Pierre, claiming that he was with Paul at the time of his disappearance. At the time, Ethan, 23 months, had already been placed in foster care. Nearly 1 month later, Paul returned Pierre to his mom on July 3rd, 2022, and his mom then later handed him over to CPS. Pierre was then reunited with his brother in the same foster family and has been in the state's care ever since. The 90 Day Fiancé couple's problems started in December of 2021 after a video of Paul and Karine in the middle of an alleged domestic violence altercation at their home in Kentucky circulated online. In the clip, the Brazil native grabbed her then husband by the hair before grabbing him around his neck and slamming him against the couch. Pierre was present in the room during the time of the altercation. Now, I think, if I remember correctly, that we covered this, or at least parts of this, way back then, if I remember correctly. And of course, this wasn't really the first time. This was just the latest in a slew of incidents of domestic violence incidents between these two. This has been ongoing for years and years and years, and this is why the situation led to them losing their sons. It's not obviously because of just this one incident that we're talking about right here, but people were really shocked and flabbergasted that their son was in their presence while all of this not only was going on, but it was being filmed. That was really, really shocking. Now, hours after the altercation, Karine seemingly responded to the domestic violence claims and shared a cryptic message that she has since then deleted. Do you know when you've tried everything? And when I say everything, it's everything you can imagine and then some, she wrote, according to a screenshot by John Yates. The night before, I spent the weekend reflecting on everything I've been through and many things It was for the love of my children, and it will always be for them, and that will never change. I woke up determined, asked for a divorce. That's right, divorce. Now, what will happen to me, I don't know, but God knows. At the time, or at the moment, I just wanted the lap of my family, and especially my mother, to go back to my house and start my life over again. Now, following this fight, the pair split up and filed restraining orders against each other. The Kentucky native was granted custody of their sons until both parties lost custody in June of 2022. Karine called into the courts that Paul was trying to murder her. Paul told John Yates in September of 2022. When that happened, the judge got pissed off and took the kids away from both of them and even Paul's mom. While Paul has not seen his son since he returned to Brazil in September of 2022, Karine remains in the U.S. and sees her kids weekly. Both the TLC personalities have been vocal about the way they're treated by CPS, stating Karine is treated unfairly because she is an immigrant. Now, in November of 2022, the dad of two shared an update saying he and Karine were working as a team to regain custody. He also revealed he lost custody because he let Karine see their sons, even though that violated their original custody order. There was an order on there that Karine could only see the kids supervised. I let Karine see the kids unsupervised. Therefore, I violated the court order, Paul told John Yates during a November 2022 interview. He also noted that he's not allowed to see either of his sons until they turn 18. The reality stars had another court hearing on January of 2023. At the time, an insider told In Touch that Paul and Karine were both guilty of the drama that led to their custody battle with CPS. And a month later, In Touch also confirmed that Karine dropped a restraining order against her husband. A separate source told In Touch on March 31st that Karine had tried to drop the restraining order for months, but was unable to because Kentucky is very strict about this when it comes to domestic violence. They actually both had restraining orders against each other and tried to drop them at the same time, but only Paul was allowed and Karine was not at the time. She finally got her motion heard to drop the restraining order. So that's just setting the situation a little bit for you guys. If you guys haven't been following exactly what's been going on, because there's been so much drama with these two. And so here is what's happening right now. So an update from Paul regarding his kids. So according to Paul, his cousins are the ones who have custody of his kids. Well, I'm glad to see Paul is obviously mentally well with these posts, pretty much blasting them. This is definitely the way to go if you have any interest in seeing your kids. And I think this is kind of sarcastic here, but this is what he shared in his Instagram stories. Oddly, her and her husband have the free Medicare insurance designed to help extremely low-income Americans get health coverage. Insurance fraud, while obviously making enough money to afford health insurance. We also learned they're using illegal immigrants as their workforce to get maximum work for under minimum wage and now reporting any income via W-2 or 1099 to the IRS in regards to the illegal immigrants being housed in a building they are leasing in Memphis, Indiana. Human trafficking. So it appears that he might be accusing his cousins of human trafficking and insurance fraud. Now, what's interesting about insurance fraud is Paul, of course, would very well know about that because if you guys know, or maybe you don't, but when he was younger, Paul was convicted of arson. I think he burned down a building or a house. I think that he owned, I forget the details of that. And, it was because he wanted to commit insurance fraud to get the money after burning down that building. And so it's funny that he is accusing his cousins of basically kind of doing what he's done in his own past. Let's see what else he says here. Yes, my mother and Karine both have court-ordered visitation rights. However, courts are closed until after the holidays. We're hiring my mother a lawyer to work with my lawyer and Karine's lawyer. We have to wait until the sheriff serves my cousin the lawsuit. Unfortunately, that will also not be until after courts reopen. We're extremely thankful to our legal team that because of my cousin violating court orders and restraining visitation is grounds to remove custody and allow my mom or Karine the ability to get custody finally. Judges do not like it when someone restricts visitation rights, especially court order ones. Hopefully, she will be found in contempt and jailed when courts reopen. And so this is what some people are saying here. STFU, Paul, your kids have Medicaid specifically because you were such an F-up that they ended up in foster care. All state wards automatically receive Medicaid, you stupid FUCK. Pretty sure that when you foster or adopt kids, the state gives them insurance. So that seems like a non-issue. As far as the visitation goes, I'm sure there's a valid reason for withholding it. I can't imagine that either of those women are a great influence on those kids, and it's probably very mentally taxing for the kids to see them. This person says, I'm a lawyer and I wish the courts just closed for the holidays, but sure, Paul, I'm sure they also have the money to pay for 3 different attorneys, and I'm sure those attorneys are 100% on board with Paul explaining their legal strategy over Instagram. God bless family law attorneys, because I could never deal with this crap. The courts do close for Christmas. Not that being open would help him in the least, given what he's spouting all over social media. So now this is okay. We went over that, and we went over this as well. So and let's see. This is the latest post here. Just saw this cruising my IG. His cousin. Okay, so my cousin has also banned my mother and Karine from having any contact with Ethan and Pierre. She did this right before Christmas when the court. Yeah, okay. So they can't file any motion. They bought Christmas presents for them, but are not allowed to give them the presents. And let's see if we look at Paul's Instagram here, what else he's saying. So yes, my mother and Karine both. Let's see if we can pause this. Yes, my mother and Karine both have court order visitations. Okay, so I think we went over this. Yeah, okay, we went over this. So that's where it stands with these two. Now, I'm just going to say, I think a big reason for why both Paul and Karine are in big doo-doo with courts as it relates to their sons is because of all the drama and toxicity that they spew on social media. So I think Paul openly going after his cousins, and by the way, it was not really confirmed until just now that his cousins were the ones that had custody of the kids. I'm not sure if it was, but people weren't really sure who exactly had custody of the kids. It was rumored that it was his cousins, but he pretty much confirms that it is his cousins, and he just goes on the attack, completely blasts them. And this was kind of the same behavior that he had towards Karine and has had towards Karine for a while. And I think at some point, both Paul and Karine, they learn and realize that if you just keep attacking each other and if you're just toxic with each other, then the courts don't look upon that very favorably, and it doesn't look as if you're willing to provide a very good situation for those kids, and so you should not have custody of those kids. And of course, Paul accusing Karine of domestic violence, Karine accusing Paul of domestic violence, both of them having restraining orders against each other. That's just a cluster mess of a situation, and so I was never really surprised that their kids were taken away from them. Now, I just want to read something to you guys, because this is what one of the people that watch the channel has sent me, and this was a couple of weeks ago. And like I said, I've been wanting to do this video for some time. And while we go over this, I'm just going to leave Paul's Instagram here open so you guys can kind of take a look. I believe he's still in Brazil, if I'm not mistaken. He's been in Brazil for some time, whereas Karine is in the U.S., and I think she's working at either Amazon or UPS, if I'm not mistaken. So this is what this person says. So I want to send this to you because I wasn't sure if you received my comments about Paul and Karine. This situation upset me so much because unfortunately I at the time was watching the John Yates channel for 90-day coverage to catch up on what I missed. I saw numerous videos of Paul and Karine neglecting their kids and her abusing Paul. It was so heart-wrenching to watch the kids crying, hungry in the middle of their absolute chaos, and many people reported them to CPS in Kentucky, myself included. There were thousands of calls and letters to CPS because it was not only John Yates, the John Yates channel, who was playing the videos, but Paul himself kept posting them. John was friends with Paul for a while until a few months ago when John turned on him. I think it's because... So what happened with John and Paul was, I believe it was when Paul went missing a couple of months ago, if I'm not mistaken, and John kind of looked bad because I forget exactly what happened, but I think he was kind of fed some wrong information, and so finally he had to kind of turn on Paul, or whatever happened back then. Some more info: the cousins who were the foster parents to the kids have filed a motion in May of 2023 for full permanent custody. Kentucky law states the biological parents have 1 full year to try and regain custody, which will end in May of 2024. Paul went on a tirade on his Instagram about his cousin because he was irate when they filed for full custody and applied to change the kids' last name to their own. Both he and Karine have done absolutely nothing to follow the court steps in order to regain custody. Paul, instead of working to regain custody, went to Brazil instead. He also has a restraining order against him in place. He's not permitted to be near his children until they are 18, so he really has no motivation to do anything to have those removed and prove he is interested in parenting his children. Karine is no better. She started a GoFundMe page that raised $3,000 for lawyers, but she's never hired any, at least according to to this person that sent me this. Now, things might have changed. This was sent to me back in November. She's also dating multiple men by her own admission. Neither of them have attended any hearings or followed the court guidelines to work towards custody. They posted the pics of their trip to Disney. This was done a couple of months ago, claiming that they're still friends and cordial, but their custody case is going to be over very soon. Disney trips are very expensive, and apparently Karine says she's working for UPS. They clearly have money coming in. It's a choice. They could easily work with the courts at the very least. Paul could help Karine get the kids back and then file a motion to have the restraining orders drop so he can see his kids. Paul recently pulled some sort of stunt where he went remote in Brazil, somewhere in the wild without a cell phone, and Karine posted some weird message implying he was no longer with us. It wasn't true. He said he just needed to get away. They're never going to get those kids back. He can afford to travel from Kentucky to Brazil frequently, but not to hire lawyers. So this person kind of echoing some of what we kind of went over. And so what happened with Paul just a couple of months ago was there was this guy, I forget his name now, Josh Sider. I don't know if you guys know him, the biggest clout chasing idiot that you'll see on Instagram. And this guy basically did a fake death hoax where he basically, he posted something that he hinted that he was dead on Instagram, and then a couple of days later he came back and was alive and well and everything. He was just looking for sympathy. Basically, a few days later, it was kind of the same deal with Paul. He went missing, and Karine kind of posted something hinting that he was dead. So there was a slew of these fake death hoax posts on Instagram, and Paul basically just tried to capitalize for that. He does these things here and there where he tries to be clickbaity and he tries to just kind of be, create drama and, to get attention, I guess. It's really what it is. And of course, that will not help his case when it comes to ever regaining custody, because it just doesn't, that's just not where a parent that's lost custody of his kids should be doing. Now, the one thing that we know less of, we know that Paul, he is not making the right moves. He went to Brazil. He is not in the U.S. There is no way that he can argue that he deserves custody of his kids, which is why I think that now you're seeing him kind of defending Karine and trying to, support her in her quest to regain custody, because I think he realizes that he's never really going to be that guy that gets back custody of their kids. Karine has a better chance, considering that she works for UPS and is in the U.S., and she seems to have a bit of a less sketchy kind of resume, at least as of recently. Now, yes, she did admit that she's dating multiple guys. I don't know how all of this is really going to affect her, her chances of regaining custody. And we also know that Paul was basically pimping out and has been pimping out Karine on social media, like those naked pictures. And I don't know if it was, unfiltered or, OnlyFans. I'm not exactly sure of the sites, but Paul and Karine, they're trying to make it on the sites. They're trying to make money by selling basically nudes and whatnot. And I just don't really see that playing out positively when it comes to CPS and Karine regaining custody. So this is a bit of where things stand now. So Paul going after his cousins for basically withholding custody or withholding visitation, I guess I should say, from Karine, and saying that what they're doing is illegal. Now, we don't know. The cousins are not really speaking out, and we don't really have access to legal documents and whatnot because the kids are underage. So we can't provide you with actual legal information because that is not out in the open for the public to see. But Karine's choices, I'm not exactly sure that they're the choices of somebody that's going to regain custody of their kids. So this was the update I wanted to bring to you guys. It's been a few weeks in the making, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below for more content right here on the channel. If I find out more information about this, guys, I will let you guys know. According to the viewer of the channel, and I believe this is accurate, you know, Karine is going to have to try to regain custody by 2024, so she has a couple of months to regain custody. So we'll see what happens back then, and we will bring you guys an update as soon as we have more information. So that's going to do it for today. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. I'll try to be around and do more videos. We'll see how things work. And I'm going to be in Florida for a couple of weeks, and I'll try to do some videos for you guys as well. So that's going to do it for today. I'll see you guys very soon. Take care.